Inter Miami to play the Copa Libertadores, and what happened at 2026 Inter Miami preseason practice. All that and more on This is Futbol. Welcome back to This is Futbol. Don't forget to like and subscribe as we are on our journey to get to 1,000 subscribers. As always, I'm with my boy Nico Bravo here, and we have an emergency episode to talk about everything that happened at opening day at 2026 Inter Miami training today. And we can start off with the big news, Nico. Before we get to that, I want to ask, how are you doing?
Everything's good, Danny. We had to do some running around to be able to come to and make this episode happen. You know, a lot of things happened, a lot of things transpired in Inter Miami, so I'm ready to go. Absolutely.
Let's get into the hottest topic of the episode, and that is Germán Berterame, the Argentinian Mexican, born in Villa Maria, Argentina, and developed in the San Lorenzo Academy, is on his way to join Lionel Messi and the Inter Miami Herons here in Miami. And Nico, this is a huge get for Inter Miami. This is the guy that you needed to lead the attack. Of course, unlike Suarez, who is clinical but limited in movement, Berterame is an absolute workhorse. And his elite defensive actions from the front he's going to do all the running that Messi and Suarez can no longer do. And not only that, but he can drift to the wings, or he can play as a number 9 striker, which provides Mascherano the option to play a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3, maybe even a 3-5-2. Nico, tell me what you think about this signing.
First of all, I want to say congrats to Jorge Mas and company, man. This is a flex move. And the reason why I say that is because this is showing the league that Inter Miami is not messing around. They went on and they said, okay, we're going to get our guy. We're going to get our striker. But we're not just going to get our striker. We're going to go to his team and we're not going to negotiate. We're going to ask for the release clause. We're going to put the money on the table and we're going to bring him home. That's a flex move.
No doubt. I mean, you're talking about a player who in 2025 playing for Rayados in Mexico, of course, Monterrey, he had 27 goals across all competitions. And not only that, he had a reputation for scoring in the Liguilla Mexican playoffs against the biggest rivals. A player that just doesn't shrink under pressure. And like you said, Nico, you have to give a massive shout out to Jorge Mas and the front office for going out and continuing to make Inter Miami better this offseason. Of course, Jorge Mas talked today at the 2026 opening day for Inter Miami practice, and he mentioned that not only is Germán Berterame, the offer is on the table, but Tadeo Allende is also coming, and then he also confirmed that Baltasar Rodriguez will not be joining Inter Miami for the 2026 season. But man, I mean, a hell of an offseason for Inter Miami and Jorge Mas bringing in all the players, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more here, but man, Berterame is the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. And man, do you think that they need anything else to compete in 2026?
Well, here's the thing. So Berterame will be the third DP, and now we're a little bit short-handed. We're overbooked when it comes to the U22 DPs that we have available. We're gonna need to get rid of one or the other. When it comes to Segovia or Avilés. In my perspective, it's a no-brainer. I think Avilés is the one that has to ride out, and that has to be done prior to the season starting.
It does, and of course, there's a few weeks until the season starts. With Inter Miami now having 3 friendly matches in South America, and then they will come back and start the season in February against LAFC. Also, the other news that came out of practice today was, Jorge Mas talked about Tristan Blackman, right? And how they made an offer. They were trying to get him, but right now he is a Vancouver player, and that option is not available as of right now. So that is a player that, along with Baltasar Rodriguez, won't be coming. But talking about the two players who you mentioned, obviously a report came out today that Telasco Segovia is most likely going to stay with Inter Miami, as the rumors of Real Betis, and I believe there was another team that was rumored to come after him, were false. And so I agree with you. I think the person who needs to leave this team and the person who Inter Miami need to deal is Toto Avilés. He just doesn't have a spot on this team with the defense as it currently is. And not only that, but he just didn't show up enough as he played for Inter Miami over his career. And he seems to be the easy one to get out of this team.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because Inter Miami paid a lot of money for him. They had a lot of hopes for this player. He was coming off Racing, the Argentine league, and but just write it out. Cut your losses and move on.
All right, let's talk about Lionel Messi for a second, because I saw some of the videos of him at practice. He looks like he is fit. He looks like he's ready to go. He looks like he's having a good time. And that's exactly where you want Lionel Messi to be: happy, enjoying his time with the team, and ready to go for this long 2026 season that's about to kick off. What did you think about Messi at practice today?
I thought he was fantastic. From the little that I saw, I see happy Messi. I see more relaxed Messi. The long break definitely did him well. And we're looking at a player that it's gonna take this 6 months the best possible way he can. Let's not forget that the World Cup is coming up. He wants to be fit. He wants to be ready. He hasn't said that he's gonna play, but we could all agree that he will play the World Cup. But I do see a Messi that's sharp, that's going to be in tune right off the bat on the first game of the season that's going to come up in the CONCACAF Champions League.
Well, let's talk a little bit about two of the players who talked today in front of the media, and that's David Ayala and Sergio Reguilón, the two great signings that Inter Miami had this offseason. Of course, Sergio Reguilón was asked about why he chose the MLS, and I thought his response was extremely interesting. He said that he had played already in Europe for many years, and it was tempting, the offer to come play in front of great fans that Inter Miami has, with some great teammates in De Paul, in Messi, and in Suarez, and now obviously Berterame, and the other players that Inter Miami is going to bring. He also mentioned that he hasn't played in a while, but he's been practicing. So I think it's going to be key in this preseason for him to find his rhythm again, because you can continue to practice on your own, but you're gonna need to find that game rhythm at some point, and in order for him to be useful for Inter Miami in this season. So it's going to be, like I said, extremely important for him to have a strong preseason, to understand what Mascherano wants from him, and to start gelling with his teammates.
Yeah, and this is arguably the best possible scenario if you consider that Jordi Alba retired. You're bringing in a guy that, I'm not going to say he's extremely like with Jordi Alba, but he's similar in the style of play. He's very attacking minded. He does a lot of overlaps. He's very good on the ball. He's a technical player. So hopefully we can see that that he's able to play the same style, and hopefully Mascherano uses him that way.
Now let's talk a little about David Ayala, because he also spoke to the media, and he also had some interesting comments. He said he was looking forward to the preseason matchups against Alianza Lima. He was looking forward to playing against Atlético Nacional, calling them one of the greats of South America. And he had a pasaje with a team in South America, and he's played against some of these teams, so he knows what is needed to win a game like that in South America, even though it's going to be a friendly. But I think Inter Miami is going to go in looking for the 3 points in all three of those games and showing that they're able to compete. And that brings me to my next point, because the biggest news that I heard from today's Inter Miami training came from Jorge Mas. And Jorge Mas said that Inter Miami is looking forward, not is going to, or not maybe, but is looking forward to being invited to play the Copa Libertadores at some point. He mentioned that he's been talking to Alejandro Dominguez, the president of the CONMEBOL, and mentioning to him that, they should be one of the ones in there as well. He also mentioned that the champion of Mexico should be invited as well. But Nico, that is some big news for an MLS team to possibly be invited to play Copa Libertadores. And again, it goes to show the type of what Jorge Mas is trying to do with Inter Miami in making them a global team and getting them to play against these teams in South America. And I'm going to have an issue because I don't know if they end up getting in there. Who do I go for, Nacional or Inter Miami?
Oh, come on now. You're wearing your jersey, man. That's a no-brainer.
Hey,
but honestly, in all honesty, Jorge Mas, he wants his team to be global, and Inter Miami is already a brand. People worldwide know what Inter Miami is, obviously because of Messi, but he's looking forward to life after Messi. And I think that saying these type of things, trying to play tournaments like Copa Libertadores, they just came from playing the Club World Cup. It shows where he wants to take this team. It shows that he cares about this team, and honestly, it would be a great idea. I think Inter Miami playing the Copa Libertadores would be fantastic. Not sure if they're up to task yet, but it will be pretty interesting.
That's where I wanted to get into next, because it would be fantastic to have Inter Miami represent the MLS in the Copa Libertadores. But do they even stand a chance of getting out of the group, of advancing, of making a full tournament? I mean, is this a team that, unfortunately, if they go play in La Bombonera or they go play in a stadium, in El Morumbi or anywhere in some of these big stadiums, are they going to go out there and get embarrassed, or do they have a chance to compete?
I think they'll compete. But it's just, it's hard because the scheduling, number one, number two, having to travel, you're talking about 7 to 8 hours of travel just to play these games, and then coming back and playing your regular season games in the MLS and stuff like that. The logistics are going to be hard to make it happen. But, if there's someone that can possibly make this happen, is the CONMEBOL president, and Jorge Mas says that he's in touch with him.
I mean, it would be fantastic. It would be great, and it would be beautiful to see Inter Miami play in some of those South American stadiums. It would be beautiful to see the teams come to Miami and play some of the games at Miami Freedom.
That will be an interesting thing too, not just because of the whole having the teams come over, but there is a lot of trouble with teams getting visas and stuff like that from different nationalities nowadays. So it's a lot more. It's a lot more complex, if you want to say.
Absolutely, but we can agree that Inter Miami is taking the right steps in order to secure something like that in the future. And obviously, Messi's dream is to play at Copa Libertadores. Everybody knows that, and this would be the chance for Messi to go ahead and do that if Inter Miami were able to get an invite into the 2027 Copa Libertadores, with Messi, signed here through 2028, and hopefully playing an extra season and being able to play Copa Libertadores. I mean, it would be fantastic. But all right, Nico, we're going to start wrapping this up. Any final words?
No, man, just looking forward to the preseason games, looking forward to the season. By the way, I really like the new training kits. They look really, really nice.
Everything that Inter Miami has put out this year, and not just Inter Miami, but the MLS. I mean, we were at MLS Media Day and we saw some of the jackets that the players had, some of the warm-ups. I mean, and they are fresh, they are simple, they are super nice. I mean, I'm going to have to open my wallet this year because Inter Miami's coming out with some really, really nice merch.
Yeah, they really are.
All right, man. Well, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to this emergency episode of This is Futbol. As always, Danny and Nico, we'll catch you next time.
Go Canes!